446 0567.
Karl Westvig, your guest. He's the CEO of Retail Capital, and they've undergone a bit of a survey, there were quite a couple of people who've replied to this, chatting specifically to entrepreneurs and talking about some of the challenges that they have. And we've opened up the lines to you, though, if you're an entrepreneur and you would like to give us your 10 million rands worth. And we'll go to Jamie in Somerset West. Jamie, good morning.
Morning, Kieno. Morning, Karl. Yes, I've been an entrepreneur since day one. I've never haven't had a job. Mm-hmm. I've been through the rungs and I know what it's all about, and I've raised capital and I've developed products and I've marketed and I think one of the hardest aspects, and I think this is the challenge we should take to government to assist entrepreneurs. And rather than just providing cash, I think that there's an opportunity that government can fund entrepreneurs by providing them with administrators.
Yes.
So essentially, that way you couple a business or an entrepreneur with an administrator, which the government funds, and by virtue of that, you're creating employment. And although it may be a stipend type employment opportunity, by virtue that the entrepreneur now has support, he's able to amplify and grow his business and operate with a lot more freedom. Just like that previous caller, he said he just can't go through the process because he just doesn't have the time to do all the bits and pieces. So by virtue of creating, nominal entrepreneurial support, it really will amplify and free up entrepreneurs to become more dynamic and more involved and to do a lot more things that they simply can't do because they're just overwhelmed with. So I'd really like to see an initiative like that be rolled out nationwide, and I really think it's one way that we can create, and I say low-level jobs, but accessible jobs. Where you literally are just, moving from school into a position where, you just need to do the basics and it's not difficult. But it requires a dedicated person to do it and to focus on it. So a little bit of bookkeeping and a bit of invoicing and all those sort of things. It's simple, and I think that's really where we're going to take this country forward. So that's my thought of the day.
Love it.
And there we are.
Thank you very much for making that comment there, Jamie. As a matter of fact, it's something I'll send on to the Small Business Minister. Maybe they can table it. So, Julian in Greenpoint, good morning.
Oh, good morning. I just think that the morons at the top, Patel and Rob Davies, that what they don't realize is that the rules they make for big business have a massive effect on small business.
Yep.
For example, if your wife was making tablecloths at home and she wanted to sell them to Mr. Price or Edgar's, she would need a tax clearance certificate. She would need a BEE certificate. She would need a proof of address. She would need a company registration number, proof of direct. The list is on and on and on. And if you got any big company on the phone, Tiger Brands, for example, and you said that somebody's making achar in their garage and they'd like to sell it to you, they would actually say, you know what, the government has made it so difficult for us to deal with small business that, you know what, we'd rather just buy from Pioneer Foods or Bacomo or one of the big guys because it's actually too difficult for us to comply with all this legislation. So the point I'm making is big business affects small business.
Agreed. Okay, Julian, so what I'm going to do is get Karl to comment on all of these at the end, or else we're going to go to and fro and it'll take up another hour. So let's go to Angela in Thornton. Hi there.
Hi, Kieno. Morning.
Good morning, sir.
What I want to say is about, look, I'm also a small business entrepreneur. And I mean, like the gentleman, not the previous one, to the very first one, take a salary cut to keep your staff because they're just not numbers as well. But the second thing, government, I've been to all the Cape Chamber, small businesses meetings. They ask for our input, how to, create jobs and help small businesses. We give our input, but nothing has been done. For example, one government department given one supplier a 20 million contract for 3 years, where they previously used to split it up between 30 to 40 suppliers. And we all supply. I brought it up. I had meetings with economic development, the one government department, which I'm not going to mention, which I've been having for a year, and I still cannot. I mean, I took them to the red tape. Also, nothing gets done. So, I mean, where they say they want to help us, they're actually not helping small businesses at all. We try and help, get people involved, youth development. I do a lot of youth development. I manage a soccer team, especially girls. So what I've done now is get them to do referees courses, AR courses, coaching courses. So and I also create jobs for them if I have work.
Listen, some of the biggest gum flappers sit in the Western Cape and around the country because they get 130 million to do this and to do that. But to access it, you have to write the Holy Bible all over again. It's a little thicker than the Holy Bible, actually, in order to try and access some of these things. It's crazy.
Yes, I mean, the people that make the policies and the structures of the supplier chain, procurement, we tell them it's not working. It has been for 3-4 years not working. Go to the one where it was working before, where everybody's getting a piece of the pie and everybody's happy.
Okay, Angela, thank you very much for that, Karl. So there are 3 salient points here. Of course, the first one, something simple, government employing a person maybe out of school to do the administration will take a huge amount off the shoulders of, entrepreneurs.
Agreed. I mean, so if you look at to access finance or access formal type structures, you need to have a decent set of books. And many entrepreneurs actually fall behind because they're so busy chasing new customers or managing stock control. So I think it's hugely valuable. I think the other thing we haven't spoken about, which we've touched on with Julian, is we need to look and make sure the supply chain pays their customers on time. So I know government's now got this trying to settle within 30 days. Many departments aren't doing it on time, but also big business in general. So this is not just a government issue. This is a big business issue. They tend to squeeze suppliers 90 days, 120 days, and that's the official terms. You're required to make sure everything checks out. If it doesn't check out, they push out another 30 or 60 days. So the cash flow squeeze on small businesses is tremendously high.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go and find out more about, and you'd know all about these sort of things, when you're evaluating businesses and you're doing projections and you're doing your cash flows, and you then have to talk about the money that you owe, they tell you, well, we always tell businesses to pay as late as possible so that there's more fluidity within the business.
Yep.
And that is some of the reasoning behind why we have this. Some people treat themselves like banks, where they keep the money there for longer, they get more money on interest, and you know what? The balance sheet looks a lot better.
Yep.
And that's the problem.
But if they want to build a decent supply chain of smaller businesses, they need to make sure they look after them.
Absolutely, Karl. Listen, wonderful. Great that you guys at Retail Capital asked for this research to be done, and we'll stay in touch with you, man. You guys seem to be doing some phenomenal work. Great having you on the show.
Thanks, Kieno. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, man. That is Karl Westvig, who's the CEO of Retail Capital. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to continue talking, I know some of the government people listen to us in the office. Some of them might not like us too much at the moment, but that's fine. We have to be honest about things. You can call in on 021 446 0567, WhatsApp 072 5671 567.